Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to the Vampire Amazon Challenge in The Sims 4. We are following the reign of Queen Darling Cloudy Snarl, who has recently been trying to brush her son's death under the rug because of her own hand in his murderous choices. And while she's doing what she can to keep her image and the court unified, her trusted counselor, Lady Akira, has been doing her part to ease the Queen's worries. She knows the importance of Yorick's survival, not just to the next generation of royals, but to a fragile Nimue who will need him by her side. Lord Yorick has aged up into a young adult, so we're taking a look at him in Cass. As an immortal, he's developed the proper trait. I find this so interesting because he's essentially become everything Zuleika had ever hoped for in a husband. And over the last few episodes, we've seen Yorick keep a distance from anything and anyone he considers unlucky. He's been trying to preserve this betrothal with Crown Princess Nimue, and we know he's been on good behavior with her since their match, despite liking Nydia instead. So it definitely feels like he's someone who's very mindful of his manners and station in the court, making sure to act accordingly with vampires of higher status. In terms of his appearance, his look has changed quite a bit. He's always had long hair throughout his life, but given that Zorro had long unkempt hair, I think Yorick would try and separate himself from that. He wants to be perfectly presentable and well put together for the eventual title of Lord Consort when he does marry Nimue. And that's all for Yorick. We are picking up at almost 5 a.m. on Friday. It is the day before Crown Princess Nimue's birthday. Yorick is now an immortal, he's a young adult, and I actually feel like he is quite a good-looking Sim. Look at him! He's quite a good-looking Sim. Like, this is going to be the Crown Princess's future husband. Like, yes please. But because I am so happy, I feel like the game is going to try to kill Yorick in this episode. I don't know guys. I feel it coming soon, and I am very, very sad and terrified for that eventuality, but I'm gonna, to control my emotions and curb my expectations, assume that our beautiful Yorick is going to die in this episode. I seriously hope not, because he is like a joy to look at, but I don't know. I'm a little bit worried. Also, I just wanted to point out the fact that Akira has been with us, guys, since episode 1. It is now episode 44, and she does not have any sun resistance, like 0 sun resistance. So it is possible. If Akira can do it, then surely the vampires can as well. Okay, let's jump over to Lilith and see what's going on with her. She wants to play the piano, so we're gonna send her upstairs to the organ, and she is going to play the organ. You know what, I feel like we really send our Sims up here. Since Akira's already, you know, she's sitting playing chess, why don't you come upstairs and why don't you play the Vampire Slayer? She's gonna play that, and hopefully it is not a premonition for what's about to happen to Yorick. Fingers crossed. But definitely, Lilith, she has been keeping to herself a lot more, not really getting involved with anyone, and I feel like, for now, she hasn't really turned her newly developed meanness to anyone, but I feel like she might use that as armor if people try and get close to her. If anyone tries to get close to Lilith, I could see her maybe snapping at them in that case, because she doesn't want anyone to try with her. She wants to be left, you know, alone to her own devices. But I'll leave her to play the organ on her own. Let's see. Akira wants to analyze a book. Now, I think Akira is trying to balance the hatred she has for Yorick with what she knows the future queen will need. Crown Princess Nimue, I think, is a bit emotionally weak, doesn't really have a lot of resolve or motivation, and right now the only thing that seems to motivate her to get involved in court life is Yorick and his survival. So I think Akira is trying to figure out how she can ensure that Yorick stays alive, whether it be guiding the males in the male faculty or talking to Yorick himself and making sure that he's taking every precaution he can. Akira is trying to be a good counselor, even though on a personal level she and Yorick have their differences. But let's go read something. We'll pick up a book. We'll say that she's, researching. And then I'll get her to sit down somewhere and analyze that. So let's come on, grab ourselves a book. Okay. How about you analyze this? She's gonna want to read and then analyze. Put that down if you have to. Just analyze the book. Okay. She's gonna sit here. She's gonna analyze. I'll leave her to her own devices. Okay. And then moving on. Okay, Vladislav likes the violin. That's fine. Queen Darling wants to play a prank. So who does she have the closest relationship with? I'm going to send it to Xiao in a little bit, but let's have a look. She has a 16 with Vladislav, a 48 with Akira, a 42 with Lilith, a 62 with Caleb, and a 60 with Nimue. Okay, her friendship with Nimue has been improving a little bit more. But she'll go to Caleb, and she's going to play a prank on Caleb. Let's see. Let's come here. I don't think you want to slap her. I don't think you want to slap her. Let's just go and scare Caleb. The queen, guys, I kind of feel like this might be her way of coping. Like all of the, oh geez, I didn't even get to take a shower. Let me do that. Because we do not want Your Royal Highness to be stinking. I was gonna say that I kind of feel as though the queen jokes around a lot, or has been doing that with Caleb as a way to cope with everything that's happening, and in her own way to keep the court together. But I almost feel like the way she's behaving comes across to the ladies as a little bit abrasive and careless. It kind of seems as though she's not putting enough attention to the things she should be, which at this point of her life, the attention should be on Nimue. And not only keeping Nimue away from the sun, but keeping Nimue engaged in the court. And I think some of you lovelies were pointing out the fact that even though Nimue and the queen are trying to collapse time and have things move along quickly by getting Nimue to nap her life through, essentially, it doesn't make sense that the queen is at least not trying to foster some sort of relationship and communication between Nimue and the ladies who are going to serve in her court, like Lilith and Caleb, and even Vladislav. She's not trying, and you don't even have to be out in the sun to do that. You can do that within the castle walls. But I kind of feel like the queen is writing that part of her daughter's education off, and I don't know how that's going to impact the future. And this is obviously something that members like Caleb are kind of concerned about and worried about. I mean, Caleb was thinking about this in the last episode. Okay, Nimue and Vladislav did not get along, but look, she's wanting to take a nap. And I think she's gonna ignore Vladislav and take a nap right here. Out of all her siblings, who did she get along with the most? She got along with Nydia, actually. She got along with Nydia the most. If we look at family. She was closer to Nydia than even her own mother. Okay, well, she is going to just take a nap right over here. I don't think she's going to want to wander around too much. She's just going to take a nap. And I definitely can see Vladislav is constantly picking on Nimue. She keeps coming across Nimue, showing up, and, I don't know, insulting her, pointing out the things that she's doing wrong or not right. And I kind of feel like Vladislav is trying to bait Nimue in the same way that she baited Zoro, but Nimue isn't really buying it. It might come from a position of not caring and just wanting to sleep it off, but like, it's almost as though Nimue's not bothered to care. But I feel like Vladislav is definitely trying to bait her. Zoro, I feel like he fell victim to that tactic because he was quite emotionally charged and kind of lost in his own head constantly. Whereas Nimue is not entirely like that. I feel like to an extent she is detached, so it's harder for Vladislav to do that to her. And then Vladislav wants to discuss favorite band. So who do you have the closest relationship with? She has a 16 with the Queen, 14 with Caleb, 29 with Lilith, minus 100 with Nimue. She and the Crown Princess hate each other, and at 27 with Akira. She's gonna go to Lilith, who I think she has been friendly with before. She's gonna try and discuss favorite bands. So let's come here, let's discuss favorite band with Lilith. Let's gonna move on. Come on. Let's gonna move on. Okay, there we go. She's gonna sit down with Lilith. She is going to talk to her a little bit more. And I think Vladislav has this other side. Look, Lilith isn't even bothered. She's not really entertaining this. She's not finding this a very engaging conversation because she kind of wants to stick to herself a lot more and she doesn't really care as much. But Vladislav, I feel like, uses her interest as a way to get gossip around the court, but she is a lot more subtle than ladies we've had in the past, like Shannon and Lily. I feel like with Lily, back in the day, everyone knew she was trying to get gossip. She was kind of in everyone's business, so they stayed out of her way. Whereas with Vladislav, because she was so disinterested for a while, I don't think people equate her questions to gossip. And so she observes a lot, gets tidbits of information from what people say, and pieces things together. And then when she has like nefarious ideas, she kind of makes them come into play. But that is what we have going on in the court right now. Guys, the day has finally come for Nimue to age up into a young adult and embrace her immortality. It is 2 a.m. on Saturday, and I feel like this event is even more special because the ghost of Crown Princess Zara has decided to come and attend the birthday celebrations too. Zara, who never even got to see this day because she died literally the day before her young adult birthday. But her sister, Nimue, has that privilege. And actually, Nydia didn't even have this privilege either. She died in her teenage years. So, Nimue, guys, if she can blow out her candles, which now, we should be in the clear. She's gonna blow out her candles, become an immortal. Her face is gonna be recorded in the family tree. The way she looks will be remembered in history. And this is a huge success that a princess of the Cloudy Snarl bloodline did manage to survive. Okay, Nimue, I'm very, very excited to see what sort of trait she's gonna get as well. And I actually don't know anything this time around because I did not try and age her up in cast beforehand like I did with Zuleika. So I'm excited. Right now, we know that Nimue is kind of lazy. She stays inside and naps a lot. The final trait she gets, and I feel like her aspiration as well, is going to determine what she's going to do in the future, in that it will influence her behavior. So they might be a balance to the laziness she currently has, or it's going to continue dragging her down into a maybe not so nice route. The laziness, I feel like, is it's a in-between thing. Because typically you wouldn't want that in your monarch. But I feel like the laziness is kind of what is keeping her alive right now. So let's get Nimue to come up to her birthday candles. She's gonna blow out the candles. Come on, Nimue, come on. A part of me feels gratified that my favorite princess is the one who survived to immortality. But let's see how this goes. I am so proud of you, Nimue, and Zara's here too. A part of me also feels like I felt Nimue was my favorite until Zara died, and then I realized how attached I was to Zara. Also, interesting thing about Nimue, we focus a lot on her lazy side, but she actually has the green fiend side as well. And I remember the green fiend side of herself was supposed to be that thing that pulls her to the outdoors, the thing that kind of encourages her to sword fight with her mother beyond the castle walls. So that's probably why, even if she has been napping a lot, there are times when we feel she's at risk, but she kind of sneaks out with her mother to do sword fighting. That was always meant to be her freedom. But after the death of Zara, I feel like her mother was encouraging her to kind of stay inside a lot more. But that's kind of interesting, two different sides of herself warring. I'm gonna go ahead, guys. I am going to first randomize the aspiration she has, and then I'll come back and I'll randomize the trait with you guys. Okay, we are back, and the aspiration that Crown Princess Nimue has randomized is Master Vampire, so she wants to become wise and powerful. I feel like this makes a lot of sense given that she has been quite taken up by the task of keeping Yorick alive, and I think that would be a very strong motivation for her to try and become as powerful as possible so that she can in some way protect him from everything else and everyone that might cause him any harm. And now for the moment of truth, let's randomize her final trait to see what sort of crown princess and eventual queen she's going to be. Are you kidding me? Guys, she hates children. She hates children. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this. If I don't have it in my rules already, I might have to update my rules. But the way that I always play the hates children trait is that they are always, how am I saying this? They're always exempt from breeding because they do not want any children. They don't want to participate in breeding. Which is crazy and heartbreaking. Are you telling me are you telling me that poor Queen Darling, out of all of her children, only one survived? It was a daughter, so we were very happy because that meant the Cloudy Snarl bloodline was going to continue. She's even slated to get married to Yorick, and the whole reason this marriage is important, and the whole reason this marriage makes sense is because the lords and the princes are supposed to pass on family influence to their daughters. And the influence that Yorick has is not going to be helpful at all if he doesn't have any daughters with Nimue. But Nimue doesn't want children. Unless she swaps out this trait in the future, she is not going to have children. For as long as she has that trait, she is not going to participate in breeding. Oh, that just guts me. That just guts me. Why are you so problematic, Nimue? Okay, guys. Well. We do have that. We do have one save in that at some point in her reign, she may decide to swap that trait out. Something might change her mind, and she will finally decide that she wants children of her own. In the case that it doesn't happen and she doesn't end up having any children of her own, the way it will work is that from the next generation, the oldest noble girl is going to essentially be adopted as the next crown princess. Or I'm not going to say adopted, but she is going to be Nimue's heir. It'll have to be the oldest noble girl born. So I kind of feel like all the noble ladies would be fighting for that. So I don't know, guys. The interesting thing is, we do have the rules to help us get started, but you guys know I change a lot of things along the way. And also, I feel like as you play, the game puts you in interesting situations that you typically don't think about. Because I, obviously, at the time of writing my document, did not think far enough into the future to see what would happen in this type of scenario where we had all of a crown princess's siblings die out, or all of her sisters die out, and then her not want children. What would happen in that case? I didn't think that far ahead, but that's what the game has thrown at us. That's what the story has thrown at us, so I'm kind of intrigued. Anyways, that was a lot of rambling. But in terms, oh no, you know what? I'll talk more about why she hates children when we look at her in Cass. For now, though, I think I'll cap it there, guys. Oh, goodness. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Now that Crown Princess Nimue has aged up, let's take a look at her in Cass. As an immortal, she's developed the hates children trait. I think this is for two reasons. The first is that she's unwilling to leave her childhood behind and fully embrace the role she's been thrust into. In a way, this declaration is a rebellion on her part. Secondly, after having seen the high mortality rate within her own generation, I think she wouldn't want to go through the pain of losing her own children. It's an unfortunate outcome, and I think it would disappoint Queen Darling immensely, but Nimue isn't like her sisters, and there will always be a small part of her that refuses to bend to what's expected of her. Some other notes about her: she enjoys gardening, which I think is a grounding activity for her, and she dislikes maliciousness. I think she's seen how quickly darkness can spread and have a poisonous effect on those around her, so she has no tolerance for it. In terms of appearance, she's definitely taken a bold approach. I think she wants to make her own decisions and draw the line, but only to get out from under her mother's thumb. Also, I am aware that Nimue has never had curly hair in her life, but since her favorite sister Nydia used to style her hair in curls, I like the idea that this is Nimue's homage to her. The earrings she's wearing was also worn by Zara when she was alive, so I like that link to a fallen sister too. And with that said and done, I'm going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.